Uh,
All right, it's loading. It's loading. It's loading.
okay, it has notified me.
What is that?
It,
All right, it's loading. It's loading. It's loading.
you can see it on my phone.
Is it loading? Is it loaded?
Yeah, it's online.
Okay, it has notified. Okay. Me. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah,
It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. There might be a bit of an echo. Is it loading? Is it loaded?
okay, we live.
We're live.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have your volume on your YouTube? That could be why it's an echo.
No, 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 no. I
Okay,
I
we're good
I
now.
I confused.
Okay. All right. I'm ready to roll whenever you are.
I
Audience
am.
or not, we can still roll. All right. Let's go.
Yep.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Florida Rise podcast. I'm your host, James Brown, and I'm here with my brother, once again, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, in Guru Maina. What's going on, brother?
I'm fine. Hi, is everyone?
Hello. And for the first time ever, we're actually doing this on YouTube Live. So this is a bit of a learning experience for both of us. But yeah, it should be an interesting topic.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah. Today we're going to delve into dating and marriage in Africa versus America, which from speaking to my brother in Guru, I found that it's so different. Just the way that we court each other, the process, the way that we do things, the spiritual connection to it. So today we're going to dig into that. So we might as well just jump in and get started.
Yeah.
uh, yes. So let me start with the first question. What is dating like in Africa? What is it like? Do you just go up to someone and just say, "Hey, I like you. Let's go out on a date," or is there a process? Do you have? Is it a wooing process? Is there a courting process? What exactly is it like if you are interested in someone in Africa?
It's just like you have said it. You
Hmm.
approach them and you tell them you like them.
Okay.
So in that way, I don't think it will be any different between African American.
Okay.
Because let me say there were times when probably parents would have met,
Hmm.
but this at this age, because of difference in context, you approach the woman and tell them what do you want, or you ask them for a date.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
some, let me say, some traditionally,
Mm-hmm.
even if you approached a girl, the
Mm-hmm.
process was you go back to your father and tell your father that you've spotted a certain girl, and now your
Okay.
father will will tell you if you are supposed to
Mm-hmm.
marry that family or not. And now the
Oh.
processes of other things will start.
So you said that your father would have to tell you if you could marry her. I mean, so we're still in the
Yeah.
dating phase. So if we're still in the dating phase, do you still have to go back and tell your father about it and get approval traditionally, or
Yes, even today, although nowadays, because you find that now you have to leave the village and go to the city, which is like more than 100 kilometers away, where you
mm-hmm.
meet different people from different backgrounds. Even if you introduce them to your father, the father might not know where they come from or their families and all that. But before then, your father would have the knowledge of the families, they would know the clans, and
Mm-hmm.
if our clan is supposed to marry that clan. But as of today, you just what happens is after you meet and you date, you have now to go take your woman, your girlfriend, to your family,
Mhm.
introduce her to your family, then she will also introduce you to her family, step by
Yeah.
step. You may start with the brothers and sisters before you
Yeah.
go to the parents. When it
Mhm.
gets to the parents, it's serious. It's serious. Now this is marriage. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you
Yeah.
said something about the clans. So is it the type of thing where if the families don't get along with each other, or if the family, let's just say, has a feud, uh, you can't date? Is that how it works?
Okay, not okay. Yes, let me say yes. Could be
Yeah.
feud, could be some things that
Mm,
I'm not able to explain, but some
sure.
clans are not allowed to marry. Some
Okay.
clans are not allowed to sit down and eat with each other. And
Hmm.
when we talk about a clan is a group of people within a certain tribe.
Oh, okay. So there's groups within the tribe. So almost like
Yeah,
tribes within the tribe.
yeah. For example, if you talk about the Maasai people,
Hmm.
they have clans. Clans now goes down to, from the clan now you go to another smaller group, which is like
Hmm.
bigger family.
Hmm.
So you find I belong to this clan, but
Hmm.
there's a lineage. You
Okay.
say for example, I'll give you an example. Say that the Maasai tribe, the clan could be Elephant, the lineage could be Oleren, something
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So people of the same clan and of different lineages could also be not allowed to sit down and eat. And in
Oh wow.
most cases, people of the same clan were not allowed to marry because it's like the
Mm.
same family. Yeah.
Oh wow. Wow. So okay. So you can't date someone from the same clan, even though you're not related, blood related.
Yeah, it's like you're related. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And that's something that we wouldn't
And
know about here. Mm.
yeah, and
Mm.
also remember, this is like your family. So even today, it's
Mm.
not allowed in many communities of Africa.
Mm.
Clan A should not marry clan A. It's you
Wow.
clan A marry clan B or clan B marry clan C. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So here's the question: what if someone
yeah.
sneaks away and marries
Mhm.
someone from a clan that they're not supposed to, or they marry someone from within their clan? What happens?
Okay, there are consequences,
Okay.
and sometimes some years ago, in most cases they are forced to divorce, to separate,
Mm-hmm.
even if they had kids. But
Oh.
nowadays, I think there are some rituals that can be done to make it not acceptable,
Mm-hmm.
like to appease the ancestors and calm them down so that these guys can live. And
Okay.
because what happens after colonization and after a lot happened and people mixed up, and
Mm-hmm.
nowadays even the children don't know their clans and all, so they
Mm-hmm.
meet up and get married, and you find that even their parents don't know. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
their grandparents will know, but their parents, some don't know. So
Oh
it's
wow.
it's a bit complicated. So instead of telling people now you have to divorce and they are living, they have families,
Mm-hmm.
you they are rituals normally done to calm the spirits.
Okay. It's something that you said that was interesting to me when you said that it has to appease the ancestors. So is it the type of thing where the
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
ancestors may, I guess you can say, seek revenge or give some type of penalty?
It's African spirituality. You remember the other
Yeah.
time we
Yes.
had
Yes.
a live on African spirituality.
Yes.
So some bad things could happen, and to maybe to bring science closer, these things were normally done because, like we said, a clan is like a family.
Yes.
So what happens scientifically if you marry someone you are very closely related, the
Hmm.
genealogy and all that. the children could be weaker the genetics, eh?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
something like that. So I think it was also to an easy thing to ensure that people don't get to marrying family relations. Eh? So you,
Hmm.
at least you find someone who's not related to you.
Hmm. Oh wow. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna put a pin in that because I want to come
So
back to that.
you guys, so, so, so you do not have clans.
Hmm.
You don't have anything like a big family of people. Some you don't know, but they are
Hmm.
family.
We don't really do that
Wow.
as much here. Now, if you live in like a lot of small towns where everybody kind of knows each other, uh,
Mhm.
I guess that you can kind of consider that to be a clan. But oftentimes they intermarry.
But let
Hmm.
me say, for example, if we go back 3 generations or 4 generations,
Hmm.
your great grandfather
Hmm.
had kids, and
Yes.
now they spread out and
Hmm.
created families who create families,
Hmm.
and you can see there's a like over 2,000
Hmm.
people, generations of people who
Hmm.
have been. How
Hmm.
do you relate? Or you
Hmm.
have, I guess you could be having one surname, right?
Yes. You
Some
said I'm
people,
sorry.
so most of the kids who have the same surname.
Uh, well, it depends. It really depends. I know of people that are siblings, and all of the siblings have different last names.
Really?
Yeah, so that can happen here. So,
So
uh,
I was thinking
mm,
now with the same surname,
mhm,
you will not be able to marry
mhm.
someone with the same surname.
Well, no. Well, one of the differences here is that when you take a look at what slavery has done to us, if you want to
Mhm.
take a look at slavery, a lot of families were separated. So people didn't know who their relatives were. So you may have siblings that may have been separated
Mhm.
when they were small children.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
they,
yeah.
and with slavery, when you were sold to a new plantation or a new master, their last
Mhm.
name became your last name.
Ah, okay.
So
Ah,
you
they
may
messed.
yeah, so you may have someone whose last name is in Guru originally, but once they're sold, that last name may turn into Smith and Johnson, but they're siblings.
So their children will have different surnames and they could intermarry, which is now marrying
Yeah.
family relations.
Believe it or not, it's happened a lot historically, especially in America, because again, if you take families and you separate them, you don't really know who's who.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I was on this website called Ancestry and I did my DNA. And what's
Mhm.
so ironic is I had a guy who I would just always butt heads with. We I'm not going to say that we didn't like each other, but we were always very competitive. And we later found out
Yeah.
that we were related. We were cousins. And we had gone to school with each other all of those years and never knew that we were related.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people here do ancestry.
Mhm.
Because of course we don't know our lineage. We don't know where we're from. But again, also you also want to make sure that you don't marry a cousin.
Yeah. Yeah. At least you need to do that.
Yes, yes. Believe it or not, it's so common here. That's one of the advantages that you have in Africa is that you know your culture. You understand the
Yeah.
whole idea of clans or tribes, which is something that
Mhm.
we don't really have here in America. And so yeah,
Okay.
that
Okay. But don't worry, we got you. If you need a clan, you can come here and we'll
okay,
give you a
okay. When I come out to Kenya this year, I will join a Kenyan clan. As long as I get some
yeah.
cool stuff to
So
bring back.
so it happens. You find a family
Hmm.
that that will adopt you, and
Okay.
they what can I say? They give birth to you by through a ritual, a blood
Hmm.
ritual. A goat is slaughtered.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so and you become one of them by blood. So your children
Really?
get your clan,
Yeah.
and everything now you become a part of that.
You see, we don't have that here. Normally here, when you get married, you just fill out some paperwork and now you're married. That's it. Now your family's
Yeah,
joined.
but now here you can get that. You can, and
Mm,
now the thing is, spiritually, the
hmm.
ancestors of that home will recognize you as their child.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. We're gonna put a
I
pin
know
in this.
it
I'm good.
feels like rocket science, but
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. Because to us here, it's just so different. So I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to
Okay.
that. I'm going to go back
Yeah.
to dating for a second. Uh Normally if a man is interested in a woman is interested in a man, who makes the first move? Does it always have to be the man that makes the first move? Can the
Yeah.
woman say that she's interested first? Like how does it work?
No, it's the man. It's the man who approaches the woman. If
Okay.
if if a woman decided to approach it, to it becomes it's like no, it's like
Mm, mm.
I don't have the proper names to say.
No, okay. Okay.
It's taboo. And
A
then
taboo.
would they feel? Like this is a lost
Mm.
woman.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
Although in modern times it happens, I will not say
Hmm.
it doesn't happen, but not
Hmm.
very common. Yeah, and
Oh
in
wow. Wow.
secret.
What happens in secret? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So being that you're only in Kenya, so you're in one part of Africa, but you travel around Africa pretty frequently. Uh
Mm.
how does someone show interest in Africa? So let's just say that a man is interested in a woman is interested in a man. How do you show interest? Do you just walk up and just talk, or is there a ritual? Is there some type of dance, or
No, no, no. It's no more talking, and actually,
yeah,
you also need to know that
mm,
the type of person you are approaching. So
okay,
you need to talk. Yeah, you
sure.
need. If it was, let me say, 60, 70, 100 years ago, I would have said
Hmm.
you know, because you live in the same village or
Hmm.
district, so people know the girl. They
Hmm.
would have gone asking people living around there about
Hmm.
that girl.
Okay.
Then now you can tell your parents, I've seen a girl and I'm sending you there.
Hmm.
But nowadays, because that you cannot do that, you need to do that yourself. You need to
Hmm.
approach the girl, you start dating, you
Hmm.
take time, you learn, and that's where now you find the girl introducing the man to her family,
Hmm.
and the other side, the man introduces this girl
Hmm.
to his family. So if there's something wrong
Hmm.
with her, so at least there's someone who will tell you. And you see, if you don't like the family, you can always run away. Yeah, but it's the normal dating courting thing.
Hmm. Okay.
And I
So,
think nowadays the only difference is probably in marriage.
hmm.
Anything else is the same, because you
Hmm.
approach a woman, you
Hmm.
date, you
Hmm.
court, then
Hmm.
you are introduced. In the
Hmm.
process of courting, you introduce each other to your families, and you plan the wedding.
Now, here's one thing I've heard of: there being arranged marriages in certain countries.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
how does that work? Uh, if you're
So
interested in someone, but you're promised to someone else.
so normally, okay, arranged marriages used to
Mm.
happen even it's a traditional thing, yeah. It's
Yes.
it used to happen when there are men who are come and who are not able to approach women,
Hmm.
or are not able to support women. So in
Hmm.
case it came about where the man was getting older
Yeah.
and he's not married,
Hmm.
the family would take the initiative to now look for a girl who this girl can marry, and
Hmm.
and you know, continue
Mhm.
with the lineage.
Okay.
So nowadays it's not very common, but I would
Hmm.
say in those maybe Maasai people, Turkana people,
Hmm.
those pastoralist community, you find they still do that. And in their cases, I think they can do that even when the girl is very young. So
Wow.
the family may not be having wealth in form of livestock, and
Sure.
what they do is they one a man will be betrothed to a girl who is like 3 years,
Hmm.
and they are promised that when that girl reaches a certain age,
Hmm.
maybe 14, 16, they'll be married to the man as a second or third wife or fourth wife or the
Hmm.
subsequent. And this guy will give part of his, dowry
Hmm.
to that family. So, and it looks like some crazy
Hmm.
crazy arrangement, but it
Hmm.
works perfectly. Yeah, it works perfectly.
So if this young lady who's just, let's just say 14 or 15 years old, she gets to that age, her family tells her that she has to marry. What if she decides that she doesn't want to marry this person? What happens then?
Okay, I don't
Mm.
have a lot of knowledge on that
Okay.
because I've never seen it in my tribe, but I
Oh
don't
wow.
think it reaches a point where they don't want to get married
Hmm.
to that man,
Hmm.
because they grew up knowing that that is their husband.
Hmm.
And probably if they are influenced by some modernity, they could run away. But I don't know. I don't know about that.
Hmm.
I have
Hmm.
not much information on that.
So the ones that are married at 14, are they expected to start bearing children around that age, or do they give them a certain number of years before they're expected to start bearing children?
I've seen some in the news who do that, who get
Mhm.
I yeah, they do have kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so as young as 14 or 15, if let's just say a young lady is 14 or 15 years old and she gets married, uh, would it be considered normal for her to start having children at that age, or is it something that's shunned or looked down upon?
Okay, in those communities, I don't think it's because
Mm,
it's in their traditions.
sure.
I don't think they do look down upon it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but in my community, in my tribe, I've never seen that.
Ah, okay. Because I
Yeah.
know that here, like if you have a young lady that's maybe 14 or 15 years old and she has a child that in essence kind of looks bad on the family here. Mhm.
Actually, even here, if you married a woman who's less than 18 years, you
Hmm.
you get arrested. You are jailed.
No, same here. Same here.
Yeah.
Unless you
So,
have permission.
would you have permission for that?
Yeah, what happens is I think that once you're the age of consent is 16 in certain states, other states have no age, but as long as the parents
Ah,
sign off on it,
okay.
the
Mhm.
parents sign off on it, they can get married.
Really?
Yeah. So in certain
Oh,
states, a young lady can get married as young as 12.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the parents have to sign off on it.
Okay.
It's
All
not
right.
common, but it happens. All right. So we talked about the whole dating thing. Let's just say that you're with someone, you start dating them. What's the average time frame for when marriage is expected? Once a couple starts to date.
There is no stipulated time for that.
Okay.
Between dating and marriage, I
Yes.
have a friend who gave us his story, and it
Hmm.
was in a week.
Oh wow, wow. That's a little too soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's soon. So in a
Hmm.
week they met, and
Hmm.
they were like married by the end of the week.
Oh wow, wow, wow. So so
Yeah.
so how does that work in terms of engagement? Like I know for here in America, if let's just say the way that it normally works is once a couple's ready to get engaged, the man normally buys a ring, takes the woman out for a nice date or something like that, drops to one knee, presents her with the ring, and proposes to her. Is that similar to how it is there?
So the here we have different types of marriages
Sure.
depending on the influence. If one is influenced by the church, they will do the church wedding. If
Okay.
one is influenced by Islam, they'll do the Islamic wedding. If one is traditional, there's traditional wedding. And
Mm-hmm.
this come we stay. Come we stay. Come we stay can happen today. We meet today and
Mm-hmm.
come and we stay. So they
Okay.
start
Common law.
staying. Yeah, they start staying and they are married.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know today, but it's also recognized by the government.
Oh wow.
That
But
those types of arrangements.
so that's for the marriage part. But do you all get engaged over there before you get married?
Now it depends on the type of. Some will do what you are
Okay.
saying about buying a ring, going down one knee.
Yes.
Some will just be like, "Are you coming or not?" so so those for those different arrangements, it
Mm-hmm.
happens just that way. And we can say if it was traditional,
Mm-hmm.
traditional would be like. If you like a woman and she likes you and you have notified your parents and they have
Mm-hmm.
notified your parents, the parents will go with you to their home to meet the parents of the woman, and from there they are going to say, our son, this son is interested in your girl. So they
Mm-hmm.
don't go empty-handed, they carry something. So for that first visit, now that's like an engagement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you're not after some time you feel like you don't want it, you can drop it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that is not dowry, by the way. That is when you are told. That is when you are
Mm-hmm.
told this is the much you pay for dowry.
Okay, so you bring a gift once you're interested in marrying someone. The
Yeah,
the the future husband, he comes with his family to meet the
yes.
future wife's family. Now what if the families don't get along? What happens in that situation?
Okay, the first thing is the lady
Mm-hmm.
has to go to the parents
Okay.
and tell them, this guy is coming, or I'm interested in this guy. We have been dating,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to come with his parents on this date. So they
Mm-hmm.
prepare for them to come, like the way
Mm-hmm.
we receive visitors. Visitor is
Mm-hmm.
coming, so we prepare.
Okay.
Then, so if the parents of the girl don't like this family, they will say
Mm-hmm.
no even before this family comes.
Oh wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
so that was.
So, and
Mm-hmm.
if it happens that they come to visit and they don't get along, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what will happen. But I think sometimes if the family of the girl don't like the guy, it
Mm-hmm.
happens that the girl can decide, whatever, I'm still getting married to this guy, and they go
Mm-hmm.
and leave, and the family
Mm-hmm.
will get used to this as time
Mm-hmm.
goes on.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
That is- mhm. So that was actually my
So
next
the
question.
no worries.
Okay, and that was actually my next question about the family's role in an engagement or marriage. So we've already discussed that the family has to approve it. Uh, are there certain traditions that have to be upheld before being married? Is there, for example, is there like a traditional dance, or is there, uh, you know, certain gifts that have to be exchanged amongst the families before the marriage can proceed?
So
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm not going to say there are certain gifts because it depends on, you know, we have the dowry, and dowry is not
Mm-hmm.
bride price. There are people who
Yes.
call it like you're paying the price of this woman
Mm-hmm.
being being like you're buying someone. No, it's
Yeah.
about creating relations, eh? And if if it's traditional marriage, there are
Mm-hmm.
things that you pay as dowry, and there are things you have to start. Maybe the family will say, before anything, you bring this, then this,
Mm-hmm.
then this, then this, and.
Mm-hmm.
So all that happens systematically. But
Okay.
nowadays, imagine you went and took a girl and you told her, I want
Mm-hmm.
us to do a come and stay today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you start staying together, like cohabiting, and now after months or an year, you can
Mm-hmm.
now you decide, let me take my parents to her family so that we can decide on the dowry. So
Okay.
it's you already married a woman and you didn't take anything to her family. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
think there is something that you're required to take. But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to dowry, there are things that you're supposed to take systematically.
Now let's kind of dig into the whole dowry thing. To the best
Mhm.
of my understanding, a dowry is something that you give to the family in terms of some type of compensation. When you're
No,
marrying, it's not okay. What
it's not
exactly?
compensation.
Okay.
It's like it's like gifts. So
Okay.
you cannot compensate. It's
Okay.
like gift. It's given to the father of the bride,
Mm-hmm.
the family of the bride,
Okay. And
and
mhm,
it's not something that's so expensive that
mhm.
nobody can pay it.
Okay.
And
So mhm,
it was paid for her mother and her grandmother and her
mhm,
great grandmother. So it's a
mhm,
continuous thing that it's brought to that
mhm.
family. And
Now,
it's not usually done all together. You do it in
mhm.
steps. So you do it all through all your life.
So what's normally given as a dowry? Is it just money? Is it livestock? Is it property? What's normally given?
So traditionally, it's livestock, it's clothes, it's
Mm,
some farm produce.
mm,
It could be honey. It's traditional beer. It's
really?
tools like machete
Oh wow.
or sword. It could
Hmm.
be could be a lot of things, and this is
Hmm.
dictated by the tribe, the clan, and the
Hmm.
lineage. Yeah, and the family too.
So with that, if let's just say that the person that's looking to get married is wealthy, they have a lot of money, does that
Mhm.
change the amount of the dowry that's expected? No.
No, it's
Okay.
constant, and it's
Okay.
dictated by the clan, and sometimes in some families, for example, in my tribe, you
Hmm.
pay according to what they paid for their mom. So you cannot say if I have a lot of money and I like this woman, I'm
Hmm.
going I'm going to give my father-in-law a Cadillac.
Hmm.
But you can
Hmm.
gift him. You can gift him, but it's not dowry.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, wow. And that's
yeah,
what's so unique to us here because here in America we don't really pay dowry. You
yeah.
get
You can
married,
spoil them.
yeah, we get off cheap. So here, you get married. The wedding guests they bring gifts to the wedding for the bride and groom, and usually, well, historically, the bride's father paid for the wedding.
Wow.
And the weddings here can be very expensive. I think that I've told you before that there was someone that I knew that spent about $40,000 or $50,000 for their wedding, and they were only married for 31 days.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes,
Now, the father of to the bride is paying for this wedding.
yes.
What if they are poor?
If they're poor, usually it falls on the husband or their family, or they work it out somehow. They wind up
Okay,
working it out.
okay.
But weddings in America are very expensive. They're usually in the thousands.
Wow. So can you take us through the process of when you meet a girl to
Yes.
the day of when you get married?
Well, you meet each other, you court, go out on a couple of dates. Once you're together for a while, there was a time where you didn't live together until you were married. That's that's quickly going away. So a lot of people are living together. Uh, and then once they're together for a while, usually the man, he'll get a ring, of course, drop to one knee or have some other type of romantic evening planned, pull out a ring and ask the woman to marry him. Now, there was a time when the husband would be expected to go to the father to get approval.
Mhm.
They still do that in certain areas, but for the most part, they don't anymore. So you go, you give the ring. Usually the bride usually calls the family and tells everyone, "Hey, I'm getting married," and you have a bridal party or a wedding
Mhm.
party. You have a bachelor party, which I don't know if you have what bachelor parties out there, and then you have your wedding.
I think they are having bride parties and bachelor parties nowadays.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much how it is here. You go to the courthouse, you get your paperwork signed, hire people to put your wedding together. You have your wedding, and that's it.
And when are you introduced to the family of the bride?
It
During
really
courtship?
it varies. It could be during courtship. I've seen instances where they didn't meet until the engagement party. So it really,
Mhm.
really all depends. Yeah.
Wow.
So
And how do you keep the relationship between the in-laws and you? How is it?
it's weird because one of the running jokes in America is usually how the husband doesn't get along with the in-laws. That's like the running joke here, especially with most television shows. So that
Wow.
happens at times. So you try to maintain a relationship, and I know of uh quite a few relationships where the families get along. But I
Uh,
also know of quite a few where the families don't like each other.
mhm.
And so, that happens. That really, really happens here. For example, I don't know if you know, but we have like Bloods and Crips, like the gangs here. And
Yeah.
if a blood and Crip were to marry, so let's just say a male blood and a female Crip, or vice versa, were to marry, that could kick off a gang war.
So those are two types, two gangs,
Yes.
and they are not supposed to intermarry.
No. No.
Wow.
Or be
Oh,
friends
wow.
or hang out with each other. Yeah.
So if you
It's
marry their daughter, you just run away.
pretty
Elope.
much. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. It's so unique here. Just the whole thing with courting, marriage, it's just so different here. Even from how it used to be. But we also have a very high divorce rate here in America. A lot of people get divorced. I know quite a few people that are divorced. I know of at least 3 women that are on their fourth marriage,
Wow.
which they have been married, been divorced, gotten remarried, got divorced, got remarried, gotten divorced. And it happens. I know of a few guys that are on their third or fourth marriage.
Wow. It's not very common here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I think what you're missing is the dowry payment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Once
we
you
can,
pay dowry, you don't want to divorce.
well,
Because you pay this year, you pay after some time, you pay again, you pay until you die.
yeah.
So that ensures that your relationship with the in-laws keeps on being renewed.
Mm. Well,
Although
I know.
it's still uh, if it's still that respectful
Mm.
relationship,
Yes.
it keeps on being renewed because every time that I'm going to pay dowry, there's a,
Mm.
a big event. It's a party.
Really.
Yeah, so
So,
so I think that one creates
mm.
some good
So
I,
here's the
I think
question.
Mhm.
No, no, go ahead, please, please.
Yeah.
No, please, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I think you should start paying dowry.
Yeah, no. Now, here's the question: what happens if you can't afford to make your dowry payments? Does that nullify the marriage, or what
No,
happens in that situation?
normally it's not something you can you are not you are unable to pay. It's not something that it's so expensive. For example,
Mm-hmm.
if you are told like all your life you need to pay
Mm-hmm.
5 cows, 10 goats,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe 10 sheep,
Mm-hmm.
uh, maybe 40 liters of traditional beer,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some honey,
Mm-hmm.
a jacket,
Mm.
a blanket.
Oh wow.
Mhm. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so you can decide that this year
Mm-hmm.
you are going to buy 2 goats,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and goats are not expensive. It's like one goat is about $30.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah, so you can save and buy, you can save say $300 and buy the
Mm-hmm.
10 goats this year.
Oh wow.
Then after 10 years you do it again.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, and nowadays people have this tendency of valuing the animals, and
mm-hmm.
instead of taking the live animal, you take the money instead. So if we say one goat is $30 and they ask for 10 goats,
Mm-hmm.
you go to give $300.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, what's so weird here is that I don't know if you all do this in Africa, but if you get divorced here, we have alimony and child support. So
Mhm.
here, if you get divorced, usually the husband has to pay the wife a certain amount of money every month in spousal support. It's
Wow.
supposed to be whoever has the most money, they pay the spousal support, but it's usually the man that has to pay the spousal support
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah.
So do they have that over there if you get divorced?
I think they just passed some law which
Mm-hmm.
is something like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very sure because now I
Okay.
don't know people who have divorced and have gone through
Okay.
that. But I think there was a law that was passed saying the one
Mm-hmm.
with the one or the man, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they also fight it because I remember there was a case where the woman wanted the man to have his property divided, but the man was able to prove that he had that property before marrying the woman. So
Mm-hmm.
so nothing was given to the woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Wow.
Yes,
Hold
but
on.
these things are not very common. Probably they are happening, but not very common.
Mm-hmm. See, I know
Yeah,
people personally that got married and got
and
divorced. So mhm.
here, if if a man, okay, a man can marry more than one woman,
I was
and
going
it's
to go into
recognized
that.
by law.
I
Yeah.
was going to dig into that, and I'm actually going to dig into that in a couple of seconds because I had a few questions about that. Uh,
Mhm.
but one of the things here I'm sorry. Yeah, one of the things here is again, if you get divorced, you have to pay spousal support. So I'll give you an example. I know someone that got married and they separated after about 6 months. The husband was caught cheating. So when they
Mhm.
separated, the wife got the house that he had literally built. He made quite a bit of money. So he actually had a house built from the ground up. So the wife gets the house and he has to pay her money every
Wow.
month until she gets remarried.
Really? And where is the guy sleeping? In the gutters.
He has to get another house. He has to find somewhere else
Wow.
to live.
Wow. That's sad.
Yeah, and that's so different here. Yeah, that's one of the major differences. So to stick to your point, we were talking about people that were in multiple marriages. So I wonder
Mhm.
how that would work if let's just say that you have three, four, five, six, seven wives, and you decide to separate or divorce from one of them. Over there, do you have any financial obligation to them or no?
Normally, okay. Let me base this from the traditional point of view,
Sure.
you are only allowed to divorce if your wife is a witch. That is one, or cheating.
Wow. Okay. That's the only way.
So
Wow. Okay.
so yeah, so it's not like you just woke up and now you decided you don't like her anymore. No, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go like that way. So there has to be a solid proof of those things. And when there's such proof,
Mm-hmm.
you are repaid. The dowry is repaid, returned.
Oh wow.
So you are the one who gets paid.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know today. Today I don't know what happens, because sometimes probably they could be owning a company together. If they are owning a company together, they continue running it together.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's anywhere that this one will have now to pay this. But I don't have a lot of information on modern divorce.
Sure. I get it. I definitely get it. Now, with the whole polygamy, well, I'm not going to call it polygamy. We call it polygamy here in America. But the whole multiple
It's
marriage,
polygamy.
as far as you call it polygamy over there.
Yeah, it's polygamy.
Okay. So it's the same thing. Okay. So can you kind of explain how polygamy works? Why someone would be in a polygamous relationship? Uh, if that's considered to be cheating, just can you just explain polygamy
No,
to us here in America?
it's uh,
Mm,
imagine you marry a wife,
yes.
okay?
Hmm.
You marry a wife and you have like 5 kids,
Hmm.
and you have a lot of wealth, and you feel like you can have more kids
Hmm.
from a different woman. So you
Hmm.
marry another one, you build
Hmm.
her a house, you start having kids, and you're
Hmm.
still having the first wife with the kids. You
Hmm.
marry another one. So it's like one man having multiple homes. It could be on the same land, it could be on different lands, but
Hmm.
it's like the more wives you had before, the
Hmm.
more wealthy you were. Yeah. You
So,
find someone who have like 10 wives and 60 kids.
mhm, it's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's like have ensuring that you have your generation is big, eh?
Hmm. 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 Now, how do how
Yeah,
do
yeah.
how do the wives and children feel about that? Do the wives feel that they're being
Okay.
cheated on? How do they take that?
Normally, the first wife knows that the husband is taking a second wife.
Okay, and
So
she's
it's not, although it sometimes, in most cases, when the husband dies, they usually fight for the property of the guy, the
mm,
husband. But when
mm,
he's alive, everything runs smoothly.
okay. So, do they set up like a will or paperwork? Would the husband, for example, say, "All right, I'm leaving with $1 million, and I'm going to divide it evenly amongst my wife and children." Does that normally happen, or do they just fight it out when it's over?
When he dies,
Yes.
okay, when he dies, you find probably he had like a big company, a conglomerate,
Hmm.
and probably he had not stipulated who will be owning what.
Hmm.
So they are left now to decide if this company owned factories, owned real estates. Now they
Hmm.
start fighting. We are the one who are going to take this. We are the one who are going to take this.
Hmm.
In most cases, you find them in court. But some, so who are clever, will write wills and say, I want this family or this guy, this kid to have this, and this
Hmm.
one to have this, so to prevent such fights.
Hmm. See,
Yeah.
here I know that we have a will, we have a power of attorney, and we have a will set up. So you normally would write down who gets what before you die. So it's already
Yeah,
known,
like
signed off on by a lawyer.
mhm. They do that here.
Okay.
But
Okay.
when he's alive, everything runs smoothly because he's the provider. Remember, this is the guy who owns everything. Like
Hmm.
he's all his wealth, he owns it. So there's not a
Hmm.
time uh, that he divides his wealth among his children because he's
Okay.
providing for them. He's taking them to school, he's feeding
Hmm.
everyone. And if there's a kid who is interested in being part of the business, they get a job there, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, so it runs smoothly. I don't know how they do it when it comes to spending time,
Yeah.
because if you have like uh, if you have like 10 children,
Hmm.
out of 60 children, you
Hmm.
need to spend time with whoever
Yeah.
maybe you want. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of kids. That is a lot of children to have to spend time with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot of shit. Now, here's the question: how do the children deal with the fact that their father has multiple wives and they have multiple, I guess, stepmothers? How does that work out with the children?
Okay, the children grew knowing that I have my mother here, and I
Hmm.
now have another mother, and I have another mother. And they
Hmm.
grew knowing that that is my brother or that is my
Hmm.
sister. So
Okay.
it's not when you're growing up, you're
Mm.
growing into something, it's not complicated for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, for those who are growing in such arrangements,
Hmm.
before they are adults, they cannot even tell you that there's any different. They feel like you would feel with your brother,
Hmm.
or your sister. They
Hmm.
grew into it. They are used to it. It's like the
Oh
way
well.
you grew eating
Mm.
something, so you
Mm.
you know how it
Hmm.
tastes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's so normal. It's very normal.
Very normal. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Now, here's the question. This is something that you spoke on the role of the father. The father's the provider. The father provide, make sure that they eat. One of the biggest issues that we have here in America is gender roles. So people traditionally feel that they don't have to do things that historically their gender has had to do, or the wife
Yeah.
doesn't have to do the things that she historically has had to do. The husband, same thing that he's historically had to do. How does that work in Africa with gender roles? What is the expectation of the wife in the marriage as well as the husband in the marriage?
The man is the provider and
Hmm.
the protector. So
Okay.
if there's no food, you have to be the food.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the house and the shelter,
Mm,
the basic and
mm.
the secondary necessities.
Okay.
So if there's no food, the
Hmm.
woman will be will have to provide. But
Okay.
if she's working and she wants to chip in and assist,
Hmm.
she can do it.
Okay.
But
So.
if it reaches a point that there's no food, it's
Hmm.
you. Yeah, you have to do whatever you have to do to make sure they eat.
Hmm.
So there's no gender roles fight
Hmm.
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like the woman takes care of the home, makes sure that the family's okay inside of the home, raises the children, does the cleaning? Is it more that there, or are women more going into the workforce now and you know in essence assuming the roles that men historically have assumed?
Okay. In homes or in cases where the woman is working,
Mm-hmm.
you find that there's a maid,
Okay.
but the person who manages or ensures that everything runs the way it should be,
Mm-hmm.
the, the homemaker will still be the woman. So if
Okay.
there's a maid, she's the one to look for the person, is the one to give her the roles. I want you to do this today. I want you to cook this today. I want the kids to eat at this time. I want the kid to sleep at this time. Okay. So she's still the one who is managing the whole homemaking roles,
Okay.
as the husband does what he's doing.
Okay. So the woman runs the household and the man pretty much goes out there, protects, provides, and makes sure that the woman has everything. The woman and children have everything that they need to survive.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that it's weird because there's a bit of a gender war here in America. So you have women that are getting higher positions in the workforce. You have women that are now, presidents, CEOs, chairmen, or chairpersons in these companies. So they don't necessarily, not in every case, but in certain cases, don't have the time to be home to take care of the family, to cook, to clean, the things that women traditionally did. And there's also, in essence, a bit of a rebellion because a lot of women see themselves as more than just homemakers. They see themselves as more than just that. But then you have men that are starting to take more of the house husband role, which I know is probably taboo in Africa. To be a house husband,
Okay. I don't know. So you take the roles of the wife.
That happens.
Once you do that, you become the wife.
Believe it or not, that happens here. You have some men that are okay with being house husbands.
So you raise the kids.
That happens out here. Yeah, that happens.
No, okay, the role of the man in the life of a child properly starts at about 5 years.
Wow. So the father's not really as involved until the child is 5?
Like now disciplining, because now the role of disciplining the child. But the feeding and anything else is for the mother to do that.
Okay.
So you just provide what is being fed to the kid. And when the kid is 5 or say 4, now you start now ensuring that the kid is disciplined, and now teaching the kid some things, some skills. That's the role of the father.
Oh wow, that's so different than it is here. I'm sorry. No, go ahead, please.
Sorry?
No, you were saying something. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I think I forgot, because even in the traditional even setting, even when I was growing up, I used to see my dad maybe very late in the night and on weekends.
Was that because he was always working?
Yes, he was working, but after work he would come home and let me say it was work, and also the tradition, because it's different when you are living in the village, because the father stays in his own man house, man hut. Yeah, so you stay with your mom for food, and when you're full, you can go say hi to dad, then go to bed.
Wow. Now, is that hard on the kids, on the young men? Well, young men and young women not having their fathers in their lives that much? Is that difficult for them, or is that just something that they're used to?
So from 5,
Yes.
Now, yeah, from 5, say 5 years, and when you are now grown, you spend more time with your father. For example, when my father is there and he's teaching me how to do things, for example, to do something, being a carpenter, building some small houses, you spend time. There's that, but when you are very little, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your dad
Hmm.
can hold you once, that's all. You
Hmm.
spend more time with your father, your with your mom.
Oh wow.
So when it comes to what you're saying, like the home, the husband, house husband,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's weird. It's weird because,
Hmm.
I said, even if you have a big role in, you are
Hmm.
CEO of some company here in
Hmm.
Kenya, your husband doesn't take your roles. You give them to a maid, and you are the one
Hmm.
who manages what she does. So you ensures that everything runs smoothly.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so different here. I mean, a lot of the things that you're describing are just different here.
I think a lot of things have been messed up because of
Mhm.
feminism, toxic feminism. Because now having these gender roles ensures that there's stability.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's
because
so.
a man will always know that I have to provide no
Hmm.
matter what. But naturally, women are not created to be providers.
Hmm. Oh, you're gonna get in trouble with
So
that one.
yeah, I know, I know, but it's true. So in most cases, when a woman is the one providing, she gets
Mhm.
tired quite fast.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, she gets tired quite fast. But for a man, we have
Hmm.
this resilience of
Hmm.
you can continue. And in fact, we were talking sometimes and
Hmm.
looking at men and seeing that a man can decide, I'm not going to have this so
Hmm.
that my family can have this.
Hmm.
So I think it's the way we are created.
It's so weird because I actually just did a show about this, about
Hmm.
black women being, are black women protected, do they feel protected by black men and vice versa. So that was
Yeah.
one of the things that happened here. I don't know if you're familiar with Section 8, but that's one of the things that happened here. For people that could not afford housing, the government would
Uh-huh.
provide them, and unfortunately, especially in the late 70s and in the mid 80s, a lot of the people that were on Section 8 were women. So if the father was home, and if the
Hmm.
father was making a certain amount of income, the woman had to leave the Section 8 housing and would lose her benefits. So
Okay.
so a lot of women hid the fact that they were in relationships, or the man just could not live there, and then you had a lot of single parent homes because of this.
Yeah, which is not very good.
Yeah, yeah, I know that over here we do have an issue with that, with a lot of single parent homes, uh, or split homes. Is that a problem over there in Africa?
Yeah, it's becoming a big problem, especially in Kenya.
Why do you think that you're getting so much of that there?
Uh-huh. I don't know. I don't know,
Mhm.
but
Mhm. Mhm.
we were at some point there was some mess up in culture,
Mhm.
and because of this protection that a girl child should be protected in a
Yeah,
certain way.
yeah.
So it became like this exposure
Mhm.
to to freedom of sexual
Mhm.
what freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, so you find people getting pregnant young,
Mhm.
then men avoid people with kids, and when
Mhm.
it gets to at that point, now they opt to stay unmarried.
You said they tend to be unmarried.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now that's something that happens here. I'm not going to say often, but it does happen where if you have single mothers, it may be a little bit harder for them to find relationships or find men that want to marry or date them,
Exactly.
because I've heard men say they don't want the excess baggage, to kind of steal their word.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that is happening here.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes it could be someone uh, was in a relationship with someone, and they had a kid, but the man was not ready to marry her,
Okay.
and he just ran away, leaving her.
Hmm.
That means now she has to be a single mom,
Hmm.
and this man is not responsible, and there's no other man who wants to marry her because she has what you're calling an extra baggage. Yeah.
Ah.
So there are a lot of things are happening because there are teen pregnancies are there,
Hmm.
and after that it becomes a lot of work now finding a man to marry that girl.
So what happens normally? Does the woman just stay single for the rest of her life normally, or is she taken in by the clan?
Okay, nowadays you're just alone.
Okay. Okay.
But if yeah, but if it was some those years, you would
Hmm.
they would have gotten married you off to as a second wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the
Now
men are
the kid would be adopted to that family, and they grew as one
mm,
of the family. Yeah. But nowadays you just stay alone in most cases, or if you are lucky you find a man, and
mm,
in most cases when you find a man you leave the child
mm.
with your parents.
Really? So wait a minute. So you leave the child? You don't bring the child with you to the marriage?
In most cases you leave the child, but in some cases you can have the child with you if the man is okay with it.
Wow. So that's something that's new. That I've never heard of. Normally you take the child with you. It's normally a package deal. If you're going to get married here, or you do a adoption, you put the child up for adoption, but that's not usually not a good thing.
Do they do that?
Adoption, yes, it's just not common for a woman to put a child up for adoption just because she found another man, but it does happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's whew, man, we have so much more that we can get into with this, but I think that we should maybe hold that off for a second show because I know what time it is in Africa. I know it's late over there.
Yeah, it is
It's probably after 9 o'clock over there, right?
past 9.
It's past 9. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
getting. I know that it's getting late for you all. So you know what we'll do. We'll put a pin in this one for now. We'll do another show about this. And another
Okay.
topic that we're really going to get into is this whole ADOS movement, ancient descendants of slaves, and their view of uh, Africans or other Black people from around the world versus themselves. So I'm really going to dig into that whenever we do our show. So I think that every month we'll just start doing shows and we'll start to tackle these
Yeah.
topics
Yeah, sure.
until I
Yeah.
come out there. And then when I come out there, we'll do a live version of a show.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll come out there. You got to show me around. You got to show me around Kenya.
Yeah.
Take me out to a couple of parties.
Yeah, you need to come here. We need to give you a clan.
Yes. I will come out to Kenya and find a new clan. I will find some new
Yeah,
authentic
absolutely.
Kenyan clothing. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get some of that mukambeto. I have not forgotten about that.
Mukombero.
Mukambeto, yes. I am definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I am
it's
definitely.
there. Actually, they are selling it in Nairobi. You see them watching us selling on the streets. It's roots. Yeah,
Yeah,
you chew some roots and you're good.
yeah. I've read that they're running out of it out there. Is that true?
Yeah, but there are some organizations which are trying to replant.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I'm
Yeah,
probably going to
because
bring a.
it's a vine.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a vine. It's a vine which you dig out the roots. So
Yeah.
once you dig out the roots, you kill it. Yeah.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm bringing a lot of that back when I come back to America. So, and I'll bring you. I'll bring
Actually,
you
there
more
are
stuff.
people who process it. Yeah,
Hmm.
they process it into powder.
Yeah, that's what I need for the medicinal
Yeah, the
purposes.
powder.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll send you all
Yeah,
some
yeah,
American beer. I know you all like your Kenyan beer. I'll send you some American beer for you all to drink.
yeah. Okay, is it different?
Well, we have so many different types of beer here in America. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, so we have light beer, we have lagers, IPAs, we have dark beers, light beers. So yeah,
But make all of them, they are using malt or barley.
yes, yes,
Uh, then
yes.
it won't be different. What you need to taste the local brew.
Okay, well, when I come out there, I will be drinking that
We
as well.
made Yeah, we have Muratina.
Muratina. Okay, I'm going to
Yeah,
look that up.
Muratina is made of sorry?
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, yeah, Muratina. Muratina is made of sugar
Hmm.
or sugar
Hmm.
cane,
Hmm.
honey. There is there's some fruit we call hanging sausages. We call it
Hmm.
sausage tree. The sausage tree, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So they have.
mhm.
I'm sending you the name.
Okay. Well, when you come back here,
Yes.
I'm going to get you some New York City pizza because I know that a lot of people around the world think that they've had pizza. It's not the same. We actually
Yeah.
got a
So,
few people in the audience that are from New York City. I believe that all of them are from New York City, so they can vouch. We have the best pizza in the world.
I don't think so.
I don't
I
know.
don't.
My fellow New Yorkers, are you with me? We have the best pizza, right? So
No, no way. You know,
yeah.
if you want to taste
Mm.
the authentic, the original pizza, you go to where the word pizza came from.
Oh, Italy.
Yeah, that's where you get the pizza.
Well,
Though
you've
I
had
was
pizza.
telling you,
Hmm.
apart from Muratina, we have another beer, corn beer, where
Okay.
corn is made
Hmm.
into beer.
Hmm.
That's another one. Yeah. In South Africa they call it mkombotsi.
What's it called?
Mkombotsi. Let me
What do
let
you
me
call it?
send you the name.
Okay.
Let me send you the name. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now that's
Yeah. So when I come,
the millet beer, Sokam beer.
mhm, I'm going to show you what our pizza looks like versus, that stuff that they eat in Italy. Ukombotsi. Okay. I've got it. I've got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's a question. This is going to kind of relate back to the main topic. There may be some people here that may say, "Hey, you know what? I want me a traditional African wife."
Mhm.
What exactly do African women look for in a man that they're looking to date?
What do they look for? I mean, can you
Mm,
provide?
mm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, can you provide? Can you protect? Can you lead?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
so all that. Then, of course, you need to relate with her well. You need to have a relationship. You need to be that friend. You need to.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
nowadays it's whatever every woman would like in a man.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
what are men typically looking for when they're looking to court a woman out in Africa?
submissive.
Okay.
Does yeah? Can she listen? Because if I'm the leader, she has to listen
Okay.
and she has to follow. Yeah, actually, we say the man is the head and the woman is the neck. So this is the man, this is the
Mhm.
woman.
Oh wow.
So this one is given support by this one,
Hmm.
but
It's so
this
weird.
one is the one that is leading.
You were going to get yourself in so much trouble with the whole submissive thing here.
Yeah. But
Mm,
not here.
yeah.
Speaking for Africa.
Uh-huh. So in Africa, the women, I guess, are more submissive to the men. Would that be fair to say?
Sorry?
So would it be fair to say that the women in Africa are more submissive to the men, or are they a lot more independent?
So if a good one will be the one who's submissive, but nowadays, because of the influence and modernity and all that, you find some characters who
Mm-hmm.
who they are like they have the freedom. They don't want to be led like it should
Mm-hmm.
be. Yeah. So it becomes it becomes becomes a bit difficult when
Pull
you're
up a cheers in
looking
LA.
for.
Just pull up a cheers in LA. You're here now.
So to
Yes.
find a woman who's submissive becomes some kind of work. So
Okay.
we normally joke that you have to go back to the village.
So Zanelle, since we got you here now, how do the women in Africa feel about this whole idea of being submissive to the husband? Is that like taboo for you all? Is it just like, that's just normal?
It's not a matter of feeling it, it's a matter of doing it, yeah.
Oh wow. Well, okay. All right.
Even if you have a PhD and your husband has a diploma, you still have to be submissive. That's how it is, yeah? And if you don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
most in my culture, that is, they'll take you back home, they will leave you there, and then they will tell your family or your parents to
Mm-hmm.
teach you to be respectful and submissive to your husband. And
Oh.
unless you are willing to do that, don't
Mm-hmm.
come back.
Oh wow.
And mind you, if you stay at your home for 6 months or 2 months, you find your husband with another wife. So it's for you to choose. It's for you to choose to be submissive or to
Mm-hmm.
stay at home and let him marry another woman who's willing to be submissive. So that one is not a matter of them
Mm-hmm.
willing or not. PhD, masters, whatever, you
Mm-hmm.
still have. If you earn more than your husband, you
Mm-hmm.
still have to be submissive. That's just how it is.
I wish that I could see the faces of the audience members right now, especially of American women, because they're like, "What?"
Larita is bunny.
Yeah, we literally just did a show about this, about when we talked about black women feeling unprotected by black men. One of the things that we talked about is submissiveness, and a lot of black women say that they're willing to be submissive to the right type of man, but it has to be earned in essence. But here, you would not believe how many times I've seen in situations where women have said, "Oh well, you better not bow down to that man. You better not let him tell you what to do." And the families will at times get involved and, say, "You better not do that. You better not do what he tells you to do. You're not his slave." I've heard that so many times here.
Wow. Okay.
So
I think it also depends. Let me just, you were asking him what an African woman looks for in a man.
yes.
So it also depends on how you pass the message. If you are pushing me around and feels like I'm your slave, then of course I'm human. I'll have to be defensive, yeah?
Yes,
But there's
yes.
a nice way to say, okay, this is not how you're supposed to do things. You'd rather do that way. Then I'd be more willing to listen to you. But when you come like you are the man in the house and you want to show your power, then I also want to show my power. So it also depends on the kind of relationship that you have with this person. Like
Okay.
you were saying, they look for somebody who is, willing to be. It's like a friendship, really. It's nothing serious. It's just you two guys coming together as friends, but now through marriage, So you would want your person to tell you things in a very nice and calm manner, not in a way that you feel like you are being a slave to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
We are in a relationship. We are not in a workship. I don't know what to call it. So yeah, it also depends on how. Yeah, when they say, "Sister, you better not let him tell you that," it also depends on how he told you that. Yeah, things that are also not let him tell me if he's telling me in a way that feels like I'm now being a slave. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird because the relations between black men and black women are so strained in America right now. Now, I do believe that there's social media and history that plays a part. So we actually just did a show, which is still being edited, about black women not being protected by black men. And what's so ironic is when I talked about the fact that I protect black women, I actually got so much hate mail from men and women for saying that I protect black women. I got hate mail for it from black people that were upset that I was protecting black women. They thought that was a bad thing, that what I was doing. Let's see, I was called a simp, a coward, Captain Save 'em. Like, and this is all hate mail that I received just because I said that I love and protect black women. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what we can say about your side. And I think that's the reason why we're finding people running away.
Yeah.
The Philippines.
Yeah.
Just like Larita's saying, those women who mostly give such advice, you find that it's like single men giving advice to married men. Like, what can you tell me? You don't even know anything about marriage. But those people are usually against submissiveness and all of those things. They are not even in that kind of relationship of marriage and all of those things for them to understand what it means. Yeah.
Well,
exactly. Because even for men, there's a wise man who once told me that a woman needs to massage a man's ego. No matter how much you feel like you are, what can I call it? No matter how much you feel like you are powerful than this man, you just need to know that you are like below him. So whatever he says, make sure that you massage his ego. Don't let it be like you are the top of the relationship. Yeah. You're always under. So submissive comes because you are under his leadership.
Yeah. It's so weird. Yeah, this is definitely going to have to be a part 2 because it's such a big divide now with that. You know, I'm not going to say a lot of, but some of the women that I speak to, they're against the idea of massaging the man's ego, or just when you said, that you're in essence below the man, that's triggering for a lot of women. I've heard so many women say, I'm not below you. What are you talking about? I'm your equal.
I think that's the reason why you guys are having a lot of divorces, because naturally a man knows that they are supposed to lead, and if you take that away from them, they will feel like you're trying to compete with them. So a woman is supposed to be humble, and that's where we're talking about submissiveness. Then after now that's the massaging the ego, because now the man will also feel like he's being allowed to do what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I think that as couples, we have certain responsibilities that we have to maintain and to take care of the household. I don't think that anything should be given. But again, we tend to run into problems at times. So I'll give you an example. There was another show that I had called Extreme Truth, and we talked about what women. Well, I had a woman on. She was not American. She's actually from the Philippines, and she talked about what she did for her man. She talked about how she woke up every morning. She made sure that his lunch was prepared for the day. He had breakfast ready. He had a bath drawn. His clothes were out. They were ironed. She would get the kids ready. She would go to work. He would go to work. And she had a very lucrative job. She would usually make it home before him, make sure that the kids were okay, make sure that he had a bath ready, food was ready. So many women attacked her on that show. I believe that Larita may have been on that show. I'm not sure. But yeah, a lot of women attacked her for saying that she does these things for her men. And the women were saying, "You do what?" Yep. Larita was there. So Larita, I don't know if you're able to talk and take your mic off, but what was your impression of what was said by the guest, as well as the impression of the comments that were made by the women in the audience?
I felt like I co-signed her because I said, as long as he's doing his part, You know, as somebody to be submissive to, that man is also supposed to be a protector and a provider. If they're not a protector and provider first, then they don't deserve the right to be submissive to. And what she did for him, there's nothing wrong with that. I remember on that same show, I said, yeah, you know, I'm single at the moment, but I do a lot of things for my son. And when I was with their dad, I did those things. And they were like, oh, you're crazy. You know, you're supposed to do this. And then one girl was like, oh, you should give your son a manicure and pedicure. I was like, no, ma'am. See, that's where I'm drawing the line. That's my son. He's a grown man. I'll pay for him to go get it professionally done. You know, that's not my lane. I'm not his woman. His woman does that. And I was just like, you know, some of the women that were speaking were just plain ignorant. There was one in particular, she was extremely ignorant. And I was just like, this is why you're single. This is why you're miserably single.
We need y'all to run a school over there from Africa. You know, you can come over here and run the marriage school. It'll be great.
We want them to come for us.
We need you guys to come here.
Okay, we will be there. We will definitely be there.
We either give you clans or we start your own clan.
Yes, I will come out there with my clan. And I will bring some American pizza, because that crap I just looked up Italian pizza. I'm sorry, that is crap compared to American pizza. So I will show you the difference between our pizza and yours.
Okay, we have our pizza is crap.
It's
here.
bread, actually.
Okay.
Bread with toppings.
That's what you all eat, right? That's Italian pizza?
No, okay. I don't. Italian pizza is good.
Okay.
But Kenyan pizza is crap.
We've had a chance to taste both, so we know better. This Kenyan one is bread. The Italian is the.
Okay. Does your pizza look like this?
Yes. Like
okay.
This one. That's it. Yeah.
All right. Because over here, we get very particular about our pizza up here. Even within the country, like New York City, New Jersey, and Chicago, we have a feud over who has the best pizza. Because Chicago pizza is completely different from ours on the East Coast. It's completely different. So we always say that their pizza is terrible, and they tell us that our pizza is terrible, and it's how we bond. But yeah, wow, we learned so much today, just again about what marriage is like, about what dating is like, the similarities, the differences, because we do have a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of differences with marriage in America versus in Africa. Like I said, the whole idea of a dowry is like amazing to us. And I'm pretty sure that for all of you, the idea of spending $40,000 or $50,000 for a wedding is probably insane to you all.
Yeah, although you find those people who have money spending side, they could, because they do have money. They want to ride in choppers to their weddings. They want to go to the honeymoon in Maldives. So people do spend for their weddings.
Just to add on that, one crazy thing that some African countries have adopted. I don't know where they're getting this culture from. They create WhatsApp groups for donations, for weddings, for dowry payments, which is totally wrong culturally. Yeah. So I don't know where it's coming from. It's because people want to have these extravagant weddings, of which culturally that's not how it's supposed to be. You have to do it according to your means. If you cannot afford it, you work hard as a man. That is what shows that you are man enough to be able to provide for this woman. Because if you're asking us to donate for your wedding, it means you'll be struggling to provide for a woman. So culturally, you shouldn't even be getting married. Yeah. So these are some of the things that are changing. A lot of things are being messed up in our cultures. So when you say it's a shocker for us to hear $50,000 wedding, it's not because they are adopting some of these cultures, but they cannot afford. So because they cannot afford, they are asking for donations for that, which is totally culturally wrong.
Yeah. And you have a lot of people, they spend so much. And it's an old saying that we used to have in my family, is that the more that you spend on the wedding, the shorter your marriage usually lasts. And I've seen that. A lot of people that I know that have spent a lot of money on their weddings usually get divorced. And the ones who don't spend as much money on their weddings, they're still married. And so, Now we do have certain traditions here. I don't know if you have them over there. Like we have jumping the broom, which goes back to slavery. Yeah. And that goes back to slavery here. Like my sister, when she and my brother-in-law got married, they jumped over a broom.
What does that mean?
You know what's crazy? I don't know. I have to look that up, but that is one of the things. It's been a tradition for generations here that when a couple gets married, they jump over a broom. And yeah.
It's just a tradition.
Yeah, it's a tradition. Yeah,
Tradition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then they tend to buy the really big diamonds for their weddings, for the wedding rings. I don't know if that's big over there in Africa. But buying the big diamonds, having the nice extravagant weddings with the now one difference is that over there, when a couple is married, the wife does not take the husband's last name, right?
Over here?
Yes.
No, traditionally no, but because of modernity, they did. They became, they did. They even had them in their IDs. But even when I was growing, you hear very old women being called the daughter of someone, and they are very old. Yeah, the daughter of Mwai, and she has grandchildren and great grandchildren. So. In fact, that was very common. I think it's also the same for the South Africa. You find someone is very old and it's being referred as the daughter of someone.
Oh wow!
Yeah, although
now for us it's the surname. It's you give you write like Larita. So for us, Rita would mean it's the father's surname. So the La, it signifies that you are the daughter of Rita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's obviously because in our tribe we say wa. Her tribe is La. Yeah.
Oh wow.
The daughter of. Yeah.
Oh wow. See, here, whenever you get married, you can either take the husband's last name or you hyphenate your name. So you have your last name and their last name together. That's your name. That's your new last name.
That's the culture that you're borrowing over time.
Yeah,
because people are doing that now.
And they actually drop completely. But for my sisters, because of their IDs, you take an ID when you are 18. That's when you get a government ID, and you don't change. So it remains with your father. So even when you are married, you still remain. Your ID still remains with your father's name. So if you took a passport, it will still have your father's name.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So do they change documents after taking the surname?
In ours, they change.
After you get married, yes.
So you get another ID with your husband's surname.
Yes, new ID, all of your paperwork, all of that changes. You have to change it.
Well, even for us, even in Southern Africa.
It all changes?
You change, yeah. If you want to change, you can change.
Yeah.
If you want to change.
Yeah.
For them,
it's a must.
For us, it's once you get that marriage certificate, the new married name is on the marriage certificate. So there may be times where you may have an ID and they may ask for your marriage certificate as proof. For example, like when you're signing up for certain benefits. So your marriage certificate would have the new name on it. So there may be times that you may have to change your ID or your other paperwork to reflect what's on your marriage certificate. Another thing that happens here pretty often is when you get married, you tend to get a joint bank account and you absorb each other's debt. Yeah. So that tends to happen here too. So you have to be very careful with who you marry. So if let's just say that you marry someone that's in a lot of debt, or let's just say that they owe taxes and you get married and you file your taxes together, that money is taken from the both of you.
No way.
Yeah.
I would get a divorce immediately. No way.
But can that not that brings about something like you can just get married so that
Yes.
someone can help you pay your debt.
That happens. That happens. Some people get married out of convenience, not out of love.
Yeah.
Some marry
Just-
for power.
Mhm. So you're getting married to some rich guy, you
Yeah.
have your debt cleared, then
Yep.
you can get divorced and get your alimony and you are good.
Yeah. I
That's
know.
not fair.
I know of people that's happened to. I know of someone that's he was his wife's fifth husband. So she had been divorced 4 times, including the week of their wedding. She had to go to the court system to manually divorce her last husband so that she can marry this guy.
Wow.
And because he was in the military, she actually was, the checks that he was getting while he was in basic training were going to her. So she was spending his money while he was in the military. And when they got divorced, when they came back, their marriage was I'm not going to call it a sham, but they should have never got married. And all of his family told him, do not marry her. His grandmother told him, do not marry her. His mother said, do not marry her. His father said, do not marry her. He married her anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, he married her anyway. And when they got divorced, being that he's in the military, she was automatically entitled to his benefits for the rest of her life, unless she gets remarried. And she wanted spousal support as well as child support every month. So
it's like a movie.
So the child belongs to this new husband, or she came with her?
No, well, he thought that it was his child. He later found out that it wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, he later found out that it was someone else's.
That's evil. That's evil.
Yeah. But it happens a lot here, believe it or not. You have a lot of people who have children that they think are theirs, and they find out that the woman was cheating on the side. You know, I know of someone that was raising a child for 20 years and then realized that the child was not theirs.
I think culture really plays a huge role, yeah? Because culturally you have seers in Africa. If in any case you are doubting something, you can just go to a seer and ask, is this child really my child? Yeah, even before you go further. Then you can put yourself in a situation knowing that, okay, this is not my child, but I'm willing to bring this child up.
And you can always go for a DNA.
For them, DNA, you know, sometimes it feels like, you know, you don't trust me, so it can bring issues. But I can just go to the seer on my own without you knowing. DNA, maybe I need to notify you. There's a way that I don't know, they take samples of what. So imagine me finding out that you have taken samples of our kid. Well, our kid.
Yeah. Well, we have
always cut the hair and go to the hospital. You know.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a show here called Maury Povich that just ended about a year or two ago, and almost every episode was about women who had children who were trying to figure out who the father was. Wow. And that was almost every episode was them, you know, either saying you are the father or you are not the father. And this guy was on for like 30 years. Wow. This guy came on 5 days a week and usually had about 3 or 4 people on per episode where they didn't know who the father was, or if they didn't know if they were the father.
Yours is a situation. I don't know how to explain. Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy out there. Wow, this is just so much. I think I'm done with this.
It's crazy here. And then you have some people that marry for what they call a come up. You have some people that get married because the other person may have money or because they have benefits. So you have some people that will marry for benefits. They may say, hey, you know what? I don't have a lot of money, but this person, they have a great job. They have great healthcare benefits. They have a pension. So let me marry this person for that.
Mm-hmm. But do you still find like genuine relationships, 2 young people coming together, both struggling and, you know, growing their wealth together? Is that something that you still see despite the situation? Okay.
Yes. You definitely still have that.
Of genuine marriages, people who spend years together
Mhm.
up to maybe old age and death.
Well, yeah, you do still have a lot of that. I know my great grandparents, who I have hanging up on my dresser, they were married for 70, I believe 72 years.
What about today?
Well, they passed away. My parents have been married for 30, I want to say 33 years, 32 years. So, you know, yeah, you do still have those traditional marriages. They still exist. But we also have some things here that are different. You know, I'll give you an example. In California, they have what's called community property. So in California, if you get divorced, you automatically split everything. So if let's just say that you came into a marriage and the husband was a multimillionaire and the wife worked as like a cashier at a fast food restaurant, when they get divorced, unless they have a prenuptial agreement, the wife automatically gets half of everything that he has. And he has to pay her monthly. He has to give her spousal support until she gets remarried.
And she has half?
She gets half, yes.
She gets half and she's paid.
What is that? Yes.
She gets that's unfair for the man.
Yeah. yeah. She gets half, she gets paid.
So do people just live together without having the marriage, like official marriages, like cohabitation, and you have kids and you are good that way?
Oh, that's very common here.
Then it should be the thing, because the government is messing us. It's messing men.
Yeah. It's very, very fair. It's very common for that to happen, which is crazy to me. But it happens quite often. And then again, even with children, if you have a child and you want, let's just say that you separate or divorce, you have to go to court for custody of the child. You have to go to the court. The court then determines which parent that the child goes to. The court determines visitation. The court determines how much money that one parent has to pay the other one every month. The courts are completely involved, and there are those that use children as almost like bartering chips in divorces. So that happens here as well. I mean, but again, that's not everywhere. We have a lot of couples that are in love, that love each other, that enjoy each other's time. So again, it's not all bad here. It's not all bad here, but there are differences traditionally here versus in Africa. You know, again, when you mention the whole thing about the women being submissive, that's not necessarily as common here. It happens, but it's not as common. So I'm going to actually ask a question. At what age is considered to be an average age for marriage in Africa?
Now that depends with the law of the country, but mostly it's after 18 years you can get married. And in some cases in the interior, even nobody cares, because sometimes a 17-year-old gets married. For example, after grade 8, some girls will not go to high school. So after maybe 2 years, you find that they already got married. So that means they got married before 18. So it's not so a big issue, although the law states that it's 18.
I know that traditionally in the past, like maybe in the 1920s or 30s, it would be normal for people to get married at 16 or 17 years old. And it also wouldn't be weird for a young lady that was 14 or 15 to marry a guy that was 22 or 23. That wouldn't be weird around that time. Now it's against the law, unless you have permission and it's going through the court system. But that was normal here at one point. It was normal to have a lot of kids here at one point. Here, you don't really do that as much now because children are expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, children are expensive. So here you don't really do that as much. But yeah, wow, I've learned so much.
Ask a question here.
Sure,
about
please.
Age. Is it common for what do you call it? For ladies to marry younger men, or which one is common? The older the man or the older the lady in the relationship? Which one is common?
Believe it or not, it's more common for an older man to marry a younger woman. But if the woman has money, it's more likely for the woman to marry a younger guy. So it's more about finances, usually, not in every case, but a lot of times in that case, it's about finances.
Okay.
And so, Morgana says she's the older one in her relationship. So usually the relationships are pretty close in age. But, you know, if an older woman here dates a younger guy, they call them a cougar.
Oh.
Yeah, they call them cougars here. So Morgana said she's a puma.
What does that mean?
Oh, the puma, yeah. I guess she's not an old lion yet, so she's a middle cat. I don't know. There you go. Yes, precisely. Yeah, but again, that doesn't happen as much here. It's there was a time where that used to be a lot more common. It's not as common now, where you have these older women marrying these younger guys. And when we say older, I mean like 10 years older.
Yes.
So like if it's 1 or 2 years, that's not a huge difference. But if let's just say you have a woman that's 50 and a guy that's 40 or 35, that's not as common. But you may find a guy that's in his 50s and he may be married to a woman that's in her 30s. But usually in that case, that man is usually pretty wealthy or well off. Usually. I don't know if that happens over there. How does it happen over there?
Okay, nowadays, let's say it's common.
Okay.
Because, but not that big difference. Probably a difference of 2 years.
1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that little.
But you still have those that are 10 years younger than the woman, which is still shocking. Like if you find a case like that, we still go like, what? It's still something that is very much shocking. But if it's 1 or 2 years, something that you won't be able to notice, there's an exception.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's pretty common here. If it's 1 or 2 years, that's not really a big deal. But again, 10 to 15 years, yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really big deal. Especially you come here, you get married, you become one. Everything, you start to share everything. Your bills become the same. Your medical benefits become the same. You inherit each other, your debt, which I know is amazing to you. But yes, you share each other's debt. The rule in USA is 10 to 2. Morgie, can you please explain that one? The 10 to 2 rule.
Okay, with America, the 10 to 2 rule or the 10 to 1 is basically if I'm older than you and you're over the age of 21, I'm not going past 12 years to be with you. So if like anything past 12 years old difference, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Because somebody could be wise beyond their years, somebody could be mature beyond their years, but you still have to be careful and know who you're dealing with, because they might not know how to deal with certain situations. So now you're taking on somebody as a protege, as a lover, and it's a whole different situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 10 to 2 is still safe as long as they're 25 and above or 21 and above. It's safe for 25 because a 21-year-old still doesn't know how to take a shower when it's hot outside.
I don't know what 21-year-olds you're hanging around, but yeah.
United States ones. The ones that play 2K all day and then go play basketball and complain about they have to go find a job application.
Well, you have
the same ones that complain and say they can't find a good woman, but they would prefer to hang outside with their guys and play craps all day on the street corners. Oh yeah, those guys.
Oh yeah. Those exist. Those definitely I know of someone, I will never out their name, but this person has 5 children. No, 6 children by 5 women. Oh. This person cannot keep a job. They had a job and they pretty much robbed their job.
Wow.
Yeah. They stole from their job and lost the job. And every woman that they deal with is a woman that already has her own house, already has her own money. And that's, that happens here. That does happen here. Wow. Now, here's something I have seen. I don't know if this is still common. It's something I've seen online that at times in certain parts of Africa, when a couple gets married, the husband may want the wife to lighten her skin or put makeup on to make herself appear to be lighter in the wedding pictures. Is that true? Please tell me it's not. you see that everybody's looking, right?
There was this period when a lot of African women were trying to look lighter because I think
beauty was defined
by lighter. I think because of colonization and all that. So a lot of people were bleaching their skin for that.
Wow.
And you still find them up to today.
Still bleaching their skin.
There are people who are still bleaching their skin.
Now, what do Africans think about that when they see people like this?
They don't like. Okay, they get nicknames like Yellowbone. It's people who have low self-esteem because they don't feel like they are good in their own skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are the people who, when a white person comes, they'll jump, and it's even easier for a white man to come here and have like a lot of women because he's lighter. So we have that mental colonization still affecting our people.
For most people, even educated ones, even when you give birth to a dark-skinned child, there's more preference to a lighter-skinned child than that dark-skinned child, just because of that beauty definition of white and black or dark difference. So you find that they give a dark-skinned child some, where I come from, some nicknames, not very nice names, yeah. So even that child growing up in that dark skin feels like they don't belong in the society. So the best thing they can do when they grow up is to bleach their skin. In some communities, it's still prevalent. Like if you don't bleach your skin, you're not beautiful enough. So unless that child has grown up in a home where they are told that this is just something that the colonizers came and told us, it's not something that is real. Otherwise, most people, educated or not, they still define beauty with light and lighter and.
Yeah. Although it's becoming less common than some years back. Nowadays, although you can find someone who has bleached their skin, you may take weeks before you see one.
And they feel ashamed.
Yeah, nowadays there's shame in it.
Now, you said
I think it depends on which African country you are. Because there are some, I don't want to name those countries. There are some where this is still happening. Like even today, women are still, even men are bleaching. Like there's a country where you see this guy has bleached his skin, you definitely know that this guy comes from this country. And it's not just women, both men and women. Yeah? An African country. You need to do your research on which country that one is. You just know, without even them opening their mouth, you just know this guy comes from this country.
Oh wow! Now, how do people in Africa feel about interracial relationships? Because that was something that was super taboo here. It's becoming a lot more acceptable than it used to be, but it's still a bit of a taboo. So how do people in Africa feel about that? Dating someone outside of their race.
Where I come from, it's a sign of wealth.
It's a sign of wealth. So if you're an African and you marry a white person, they automatically assume that you're rich.
Automatically wealthy.
Yeah, you're rich.
Automatically? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No matter how struggling that white man is, we just they just already you're in that category of rich.
Oh wow. Now, how do they see Black American men or Black American women out there?
I don't think we have a lot of them coming this side.
But relationship wise.
But let me tell you, for a foreigner, we can say coming from Europe or America, they start seeing that notion that you have money. So when you come to Kenya, know that people who say who think you have a lot of money.
Relationship. I think he's asking like if you get married to an African American, for example.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's still like him getting married to somebody not from Kenya. Some people still feel like, oh, this guy is rich. He could afford to marry a wife from outside our country.
Mhm.
So it's just the same. If you're foreign,
Mhm.
no matter where you come from, the fact
Mhm.
that you could afford to marry
Mm.
Yeah,
somebody.
the only difference is if it's you who is marrying an African,
Mhm.
they might not, because that you are the same color as us. So at
Mhm.
first they will not
No,
know. It's not
Mhm.
like the other one who has a white man. This one is
just
married to a
automatic.
white man. But
Yeah, yeah.
until now, they realize, you come from the US, and like, you have
Oh,
money.
Mhm.
People will be
Oh,
telling you
she made it.
to give you some tea.
oh, because I've heard that in certain cases, like some of the African women don't like Black American men, and some of the some of the African men may not like Black American women, or is it the opposite?
No, it's the opposite. Actually, you
Uh,
need to come and
mm.
experience that.
Okay, I'm coming this year. I'm coming this year. So
No,
now that's such. Mhm.
I don't think there's that hate like
Mhm.
I don't want an African.
Mhm.
Actually,
Dating and marriage depends on your connection with somebody, no matter
Sure.
their skin color,
yeah.
their
And
yeah.
actually, there's
Mm.
nobody cares.
No.
Mhm.
Nobody cares about you.
Mhm.
Like, for example, an African American coming to stay in Kenya, or nobody cares. Africans are very
Mhm.
calm, and they'll take you in. They will welcome you.
Mhm.
It's so good. I don't know where that
No.
that
Mhm.
that what can you call it,
With the stereotype.
The stereotype,
stereotype
yeah.
came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
because
we we. Mhm.
I don't think there's anything like that.
I'm noticing that, like, even here in America, a lot of people that are from Africa tend to stick with their own. Like people that are from their countries, uh, like sometimes even when you just say hello to them, they'll kind of be a little nervous. Not all the time, but I have experienced that in the past. I may say hello to an African woman, and she may look at me like, "Are you trying to rob me?" Like, just saying hello to you.
No.
Have
And
you have
In
you
the US,
have you said
yes,
hello to
yes.
someone from Kenya?
I have not. Again, when I go to Kenya, I'm saying hi to everybody.
Nigeria?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of Nigerians here.
But there's a thing I don't know, because when we were in Italy, you find that Kenyans tend to form groups.
Hmm.
I think it's the way you relate with other people. But
Hmm.
when Kenyans are together, they want to speak their
Hmm.
Swahili. But
Ah.
when you find a Kenyan and maybe a Tanzanian or a South
Hmm.
African, they will still relate together.
abroad.
Hmm.
Good. Yeah, actually, what we know is, unless the people from the same country come together, when
Hmm.
all African countries are involved, they try to mm, go towards, like, to come together as a group.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think they try to look for where they more relate to one another.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, the Africans tried. I don't know why, and I think
Mm.
I was also part of it.
It's
Hmm.
for safety reasons. You feel safe.
Yeah,
Mm.
like you
Ah.
form groups. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Larita says she has friends from Kenya, Liberia, Ghana, South Africa, Madagascar.
Yeah.
So you also need to look for friends out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's so weird is that, like in the Northeast, which is where I am, we have a
Mhm,
lot of Nigerians, a lot of people from Ghana.
mhm.
Mm.
Uh, you have a couple of Liberians, a couple of South Africans, but not too many. But for the most part, Nigeria and Ghana, those are the two predominant countries that you see here in the Northeast.
No, you need to start going to the shops. I bet they have shops and restaurants. Go eat some fufu.
I've had fufu, but is there a difference between Nigerian and Kenyan fufu?
No, we don't have fufu.
Oh, only Nigerians have it. It's very filling.
It's West Africa.
It's filling. You'll be very full when you eat it. Your stomach will be very full. Yes. Fufu.
It's Western Africa. Here we have ugali.
Ugali, what is that?
It's you can have ugali made of mainly corn flour, but we also have sorghum millet, cassava, foxtail millet, and a lot of other grains.
You said foxtail?
Yeah, foxtail millet.
We don't even know what that is. We don't have that here.
Just Google it. You
okay,
see
foxtail millet. Okay, we eat like spinach. So yeah. That's crazy.
You guys eat a lot of wheat.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of wheat, a lot of gluten. Fruits. Well, fruits here are expensive.
Yeah.
And like for example, bananas are about 50 cents a pound here.
50 cents
a pound. So I don't know what that is in Kenya, but yeah, there in certain cases here, fruits are very expensive. I'm actually checking out it to see the difference, but so certain things here are it's cheaper to go to McDonald's and get a hamburger than it is in certain cases to get fruits here.
Wow. So fruits in Kenya, I think in Kenya, because where I come from, fruits and vegetables are very expensive. Fruits in Kenya are so cheap. They are everywhere. You can actually afford to eat fruits and in any part of Kenya, even in supermarkets, even in the rich neighborhoods, still affordable.
The most expensive banana is 1 cent.
10
cents. Like about 10 cents for one big banana.
See here, I just did the math. 50, I guess this is $50 US is 6,000 Kenyan shillings.
Yeah. So you can have 600 bananas.
So 66, 50 cent here is 66 Kenyan shillings.
6,600.
For 50 cent? No, 50 cent for us is 66.
Okay, 50 cents.
Yeah, so that's what we pay about a pound for bananas.
How many bananas?
It's by the pound, so maybe about 3 or 4.
So that's 66. So here that would be, for a huge one, that would be 30 Kenya shillings. So double. Wow. Then if they are smaller, it's half. So there'll be 15 Kenya shillings.
15 Kenyan shillings?
Yeah, for the pound.
That's probably like 3 cents here. Yeah, it's so much more expensive here. Like the average date in America is probably about $200.
200.
Just to go on a date here will probably run you about $200. If you go out to eat, your meal will probably be about between $50 and $70. If you go to a concert, you have to spend money. Depending on where you live, you either have to take a taxi, a Uber, train, bus, or you drive. That costs money. Movie tickets are expensive. So, like really said, depending on where you go and how you spend it, yeah, you're right. But on average in America, you're probably not having a date for less than $75.
75,000?
No, $75.
$75. Okay.
So that you're usually not getting a date that cheap or cheaper than that here in America.
That's like 10,000.
Yeah. No, 10 or
10K.
What?
Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
Damn, you have traveled the whole of Kenya with that money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I love seeing your reactions to this because I can tell that you're genuinely shocked.
Wow.
Because that's very common.
There's a restaurant where we go to eat some meat, and the most expensive we can spend on a lot of meat,
A lot of rice, a lot of
a lot of
vegetables.
milkshakes.
Mhm.
Maybe even after taking an Uber, that would be like 3,000.
Yeah.
That's like
five.
30. That less than 30, like $25.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, you're not getting that here.
At the most. Wow.
You're not getting that here.
A camel, you've eaten camel meat at that point.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to eat camel. I've never eaten a camel before.
It's nice.
So yeah, camels aren't really abundant over here. We don't really have camels over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have like chickens.
Actually, in the north, that's what they pay for dowry.
Like camels?
Yeah.
That would be really interesting. You meet someone and you decide that you want to marry them, and they tell you that you have to get 10 camels.
Yeah. You're told to bring 10 camels, and you know one camel is like $4,000.
US dollars?
Yeah. But when your father has 100 of them and you're told to bring 5, just 5, they will still give back. Yeah. So
that's a lot of money. Now that will lead to divorce here. Paying for camels. Yeah, yes. Oh man, so this was a good one. It's about 3:00 over here on the East Coast. What is it, about 10:00 over there? Or 10:09?
Yeah, it's a 10:09.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we're going to put a pin in this one, and we'll come back in another couple of weeks. We'll do this again. I definitely, just to give a heads up to everyone, I really want to dig into this whole ADOS versus Africa situation. Zanelli, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I sent in Guru some information about it. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I did, but for her, no.
Yeah. So there are people who do not believe that Africans are a part of Black culture, the Black diaspora, and we should not be considered as one. So I actually, like I said, I sent it to Nguru already. I sent him the actual article. And there's a lot of people. I'm not going to say a lot, but they say that it's in the thousands of people that consider themselves to be ADOS. So I actually know a few people that consider themselves to be ADOS. So I'm going to try to have them come on. So, one of the things that's being discussed is giving reparations to Black Americans for slavery. So one of the things that's being pushed is that they want to write a provision that Africans do not get a dime of that money. And this is Black Americans that's pushing this.
Wow.
Yeah. And in this, when they say Africans should not get a dime of their money, they are referring to Africans who are in Africa or African Americans?
Either. So African Americans whose parents or grandparents were not slaves.
Okay.
So if let's just say that you're first or second generation, they don't think that you should get it.
Okay.
But again, we'll get someone on, they'll clarify it because I'm probably butchering it, but they can clarify it and speak more to it because I think that it's a conversation that needs to be had. Because it personally, it makes no sense to me. Hey, we all look alike. We all, share a common melanin. We can go out in the sun. We all like chicken. So, I mean, we all have certain things in common with each other. So the concept of it makes no sense to me. But we can hopefully have each other on and we can hopefully get to understand each other and hash it out.
Yeah, sure.
They definitely have their reasons.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll do that soon. So I know that it's getting late for both of us. I know that you all have your shows and your products that you need to plug. Please plug away. I know that you have your multiple shows. So how can people reach you? How can people support you?
So we have we have 2 YouTube channels. One is by Africans for Africa, where we showcase different African things. Could be cultures, could be hustles, could be lifestyles. And we also have Swazi in Kenya, Beyond Borders with Zanele, where she shows her, it's actually lifestyle vlogs, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's basically like what we are trying to show, the gap, bridging the gap between Africans and African Americans. But in
Yes.
my case, it's between East and Southern Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I've actually watched quite a few episodes. I especially love the episode of when you went to Rwanda, just to see how clean it was. It's amazing out there, because whenever we hear about Rwanda, all that we hear about is the genocide.
Yeah.
So we don't often hear about what Rwanda is like now. And Rwanda is beautiful. So when I come to Kenya, I'm going to Rwanda too. So I'm dragging y'all with me. So
yeah. we love Rwanda.
Yeah, we'll drag you, and then hopefully I'll see some nice waterfalls, see some nice beaches. If I see a lion, I'm just letting you know I'm hiding in the car, just to let you all know.
And I'm hoping you come with our sisters, Larita, Morgana, all you guys.
Yeah, bring them with us.
Yeah.
We'll bring Jim with us. It'll be fun. We get a whole group of us, play some American football.
Yeah.
Definitely. Introduce it to Africa, yeah?
Yes. I'm pretty sure that once Africans learn about American football, we'll take that over too. So, so definitely. Yes, everyone, please like and subscribe to By Africans for Africans and Beyond Borders with Zanele. I'm already subscribed. Everyone, please subscribe, share, like, comment. Please do so. For those of you that are new to this show, please like and subscribe to the Fall to Rise podcast. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We cover a lot of things. There's a few episodes that I haven't posted yet. They're still being edited. And the show is also being moved to strictly audio platforms, streaming platforms. So the show is going to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. It's coming very, very soon. So please like and subscribe to the social media platforms. And we'll let you know when that's coming. And we'll also have a few bonus episodes that will be coming out very, very shortly. So once again, I want to thank my guest and guru, Zanele. I want to thank you all for coming on yet again. And I want to thank all of you for watching. So for me and everybody, thank you. So for me and everyone here at the Fall to Rise podcast, see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.